I will say, however, that Fran was not only the first person in her family to graduate from college, we hear that a lot, or law school. She was the first person in her family to graduate from high school. She's the, She's the daughter of a Greek-American roofer and an Irish-American bookkeeper. Flash forward to the 1990s, and after a great career she launched as a government prosecutor, she went to the Justice Department and immediately got involved in intelligence matters. She ended up a little bit later in Coast Guard intel, and then she was brought by President Bush into the White House to be his lead counterterror expert. So I'm going to jump right in here, given the day's events, and ask you from today. White House counterterrorism advisor John Brennan described this mission as quite a success, that we've decapitated the head of a snake, that this was a strategic blow to Al-Qaeda. Do you agree with that? And if you would, could you give us a kind of a detailed description of what's left of Al-Qaeda?
Okay, well, I do agree with John's assessment. It is absolutely a strategic blow. I always cringe when people use these analogies. It's cutting off the head of the snake. The problem with Al-Qaeda is it's not a monolith. A snake suggests to you it's this monolith, and so you've cut off its head and you're done. It's more like cutting off several important arms of the octopus, right? It'll grow them back. There are other tentacles. This war is by no means over. As big a victory as it is to have killed bin Laden. He was the inspirational head. He was a huge inspiration for recruitment, for fundraising, all these very important things. And we have very much dealt them a crippling blow. The fact is, you still have people like Anwar al-Awlaki, the preacher in Yemen, who inspired Nidal Hasan, the Fort Hood shooter. You still have Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, the TTP in Pakistan, that was responsible for launching attacks against CIA operatives. You have Lashkar-e-Taiba, also a Pakistani group. I mean, we still have these very potent, very powerful groups. Make no mistake, they're in disarray tonight as a result of last night's operation. But we still have threats. And, John Brennan and the people at the White House, the people at the CIA and our military tonight continue to fight those threats.
To what extent are you worried about retaliation?
Leon Panetta, I thought, said it perfectly when in his message to the workforce today, he said, we must presume and remain vigilant against them. There's no question. Look, the capability, let's start with the good news for once. I mean, I never, in my old job, got to have good news. The good news here is there's no question that they're not as capable as they were on September 10th of 2001. They can't pull off another one of those mass casualty, kill thousands, because across two administrations, the U.S. government has shown its commitment and resolve to degrade their capability. That said, Nidal Hasan shoots more than a dozen of our soldiers on a U.S. Army base in Fort Hood. Single operatives can do great damage. They can kill Americans. And what I worry about right now, in the immediate aftermath of this success, is the one-off. I do think Americans in our facilities overseas are most vulnerable because they're also the most difficult to protect.